Hello, and welcome to Recent Activity, your new favorite entertainment review podcast that attempts to cover every film, every show, all at once. I am your co-host, Andrew Morgan. With me, as always, on a scale of 1 to 10, he's a scared cat emoji. It's James Beauregard. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, buddy. I'm ready to rock and roll tonight.
Dude, my fucking main man, Tim Meadows, just rocking out all my favorite quotes on Peacemaker Season 2. Just killing it. Absolutely killing it. Had to pull that one out. There was a few. I almost did the he gets his spider milk at Whole Foods.
Yes.
So it just absolute murder. Well, we'll get into that. We are going to talk about Peacemaker Season 2. The finale was mid last week, so we're a little late in that for maybe some other people who covered it. But for us, this is fresh and new, and we love it. So we're going to cover a season that we've been talking about a lot and really saying high praise. So we'll see if they landed the plane with their finale. And we'll also cover The Smashing Machine as well as Roofman in terms of the movie department. Smashing Machine, the movie that is the reason why we didn't have an episode last week, because it was seen by, last I looked, no one. Shane, it kind of bombed.
I was going to say 5 people.
Yeah, and 2 of them were us. So, so we will get to that and talk about, obviously was it any good or not, but also what does this say about The Rock and what does this say about its Oscar chances, all those things. We'll cover all of that when we get to it. But up top, Shane, let's get to Peacemaker Season 2. Having its finale, I was so high on this show. And I don't want to say that past tense. I'm saying it past tense because, obviously it is now past. I don't want to cast aspersions just yet. But this was like in the running for some of the best TV I've seen all year, this particular season. I was having so much fun. And then the finale, I had this strange feeling, Shane, where I was just like, I don't know what they're going to do. Because how the previous episodes ended, it felt like, well, what is there left to do besides Peacemaker being in jail? That was essentially it. And I just was like, I don't know what they're going to do. And so I was like anxious for it, like in a good way because of how good the rest of the season was. But I was also like a little apprehensive because I was just like, I don't know what they're going to do. They've been including Lex Luthor a lot more. I heard a lot of stuff about how they might be integrating more stuff for the DC universe and everything else. So is there going to be like a special guest? Is there going to be something extra? Is it going to be like Gen V where now we're going to get a bunch of people from the rest of the universe to kind of come play? Like, what is this going to be? And what did you think? Because this episode, for a season I was like almost ready to crown my favorite season of the year, I thought this finale was scatterbrained and franchise heavy, montage heavy, and was some of kind of a head scratcher, but I was still having a good time because I love these people. But if you took the story, I think they ran out.
Oh, man. I've been going back and forth with this finale pretty much since it ended. I in my gut, I felt like their best episode was episode 7 right before this one the
last couple,
hands down.
But were like excellent, where I was just flying high. Yeah.
And I felt like this almost had an Alien Earth finale where also in that show, the episode before the finale ended up being their best episode.
Right.
And they didn't quite land the plane right. I feel this in this episode. It felt like it was almost a setup episode. It felt like it felt rushed. It felt like it spent too much time setting up future DC projects and rather focusing in on Peacemaker itself.
Yeah.
You spent all this time on Earth X, and then you wrap that storyline up really quickly, and then you pivot to the whole checkmate thing, which they didn't spend any time setting up.
Yeah.
It just felt rushed. It felt all over the place. There was a lack of closure.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, so Gunn said there's not going to be season 3 of Peacemaker. So is it just leads into Superman? What's the title on that one again? Man of Tomorrow or something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
So I felt like he used this to set up future projects. I don't know how I feel about that. I wanted Like you said, I think they ran out of story. I wanted closure on this season, and it just felt wide open. Like, again, it was rushed, and it's a shame because, man, like you said, I was ready to crown this one of the best TV shows I've seen all year. Yeah. I was really enjoying it, and they just, I don't know, man. I'm not alone either because I'm after the fact, I'm reading a lot of internet chatter how a lot of people were just so divisive on this last episode. A lot of people didn't like it. I think I'm in that camp. Outside of like Tim Meadows and like what you said, I like some of the characters, but overall, as the storytelling goes, it just didn't land the mark for me.
Yeah. And it's interesting, right? Because while I enjoyed the opening episode for Peacemaker, I thought it was, especially comparatively speaking, I thought it was one of the weaker episodes of the season. And now we're seeing this finale being weak. And I'm like, is James Gunn just not good at making television? I don't want to be like a complete jerk about it because, he has some history with it. Mm-hmm. But I'm just like, the ones that he is completely like wholeheartedly like, I wrote and directed this, it's kind of a mixed bag. So I don't want to like go too over the top because, you have one really bad episode or confusing episode because to me, it felt like they ran out of story. Like I said, they ran out of people to stop. Cause like, as I said, when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, so what do they have to stop Flag from doing something? And I didn't even quite have my finger on it going into the finale. And I'm like, that's not good because they spent so much time in these other dimensions and trying to get Chris and focus on him and trying to keep him out of danger. But then everything kind of just comes to a grinding halt when he turns himself in and Flag is off doing other stuff. It ran head first, like as you said, into what they have planned for the franchise's future. And whether that means franchise as in like DC or like you were saying, I didn't know that they said no to a Peacemaker Season 3. I didn't know that was a confirmed thing. But what I have heard chatter about is that there's a Checkmate spinoff.
Okay.
Potentially brewing.
Well, that would make sense.
It would if he's isolated and whatever. But I don't know. I guess maybe they'll just move on thinking they don't know where he is and they have no reason to know because no one's tied into Argus anymore. All those people are defecting out, So I don't know how they would find out. And if they do, like, what do they do? Is he a part of Checkmate? I doubt it because I don't know the reason why they're not doing Season 3. Did you get a good shake on that?
I did not. Gunn came out and confirmed that he had no plans for Season 3. Like, you'll see Peacemaker be a larger part of the DC universe going forward, but in what role we don't know. Yeah. I just felt like they spent a lot of time setting up the next Superman movie in this. Like the whole Lex and Rick Flag relationship kind of like formed a little quicker than I thought they would during this. Yeah. And I think they're using that to springboard for the Superman project. But like, again, I don't know, man, this left a sour taste in my mouth. It really did.
Yeah. Especially if you're not going to have more here. To have a less wrapped up approach to the finale is definitely hard to swallow. I was looking forward to actually more Peacemaker.
Yeah.
The way, if you asked me, like I said, after episode, 7, because this was 8.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
This is 8, yeah.
So I love this team and I love what they're doing. It's just, and the highs of this season are just so good. I just don't know what to make of it. And I'm, like I said, we've talked about this before. I'm probably more anticipating Supergirl as something positive and good coming up before Superman even comes back, and they'll have other things going on. It's so weird that they wouldn't bring back Peacemaker, which gets a lot of press in the podcasting industry, at least, and like Nerdist and all these other like sites about that, and yet that's not coming back. But meanwhile, not to kick somebody else in the nuts, but like Daredevil is coming back. I think it got renewed for like multiple seasons, 2 and 3 or something. And I was just like, huh? What are you talking about? Because that struggled to me to really get a cohesive storyline with enough compelling characters for me to keep going. So this one hurts because Tim Meadows paired with Adrian, I love seeing that. I love the people they left behind. I thought Danielle Brooks was like a huge standout, did like all the emotional heavy lifting. Like, honestly, like I stopped dead in my tracks in obviously what was a little bit of a mess of an episode. When she's breaking up with her partner, I'm like, how is this so well written and so emotionally beautiful? I was just like, wow. And then she rolls up again and like she's just on this like hit streak of like doing another long speech to Chris and trying to get him off the mat and trying to, and basically like, I love you and I know how much you love me and all this other stuff. I was like, Jesus. Like, so there's like a lot of big speechifying going on, but the stuff around it is the hard part, because then you're talking, it's multiple montages. I thought the whole checkmate thing felt very weird and forced and
rushed. Yes.
Yeah, very much so. Even though it looked kind of fun, it looked like, is this a sitcom? What are we doing? And then going back and forth between the Foxy Shazam and the Nelson boat cruise stuff. Like, it made sense when we were doing the flashback, because they've been talking about it the whole season, about Harcourt and Chris Peacemaker, having a moment during one of those. But like, good God, they just beat it into the ground and stretched it out so much. I don't know. Like, it was just all over the place. I couldn't grab onto anything, and I didn't fully care. Like, more than like, I was like, oh, I already like these characters. That was about it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And I read today before we got on, like, this season, like, somehow bleeds right into Creature Commando Season 2 and the new Lantern series they're going to have on. Now, how it ties into there, I have no idea.
I don't know.
But, yeah, I'm kind of I'm really just disappointed with the way they just ended this show and used it as a launching point for other projects. I didn't need that. I wanted finality here. I wanted just everything wrapped up in a bow.
Well, until you told me about the Peacemaker Season 3 thing not coming to fruition, I was just like, oh, this feels like when they split the Bear seasons. Where I was just like, oh, this feels like a TBD, and it'll make more sense when we combine the seasons. But if they're not doing that, and it's all about where it kicks to the next season in this conjoined universe, I guess they're going to do, I don't know if I like that as much.
I don't know if I like it either, to be honest with you, man.
They have a lot to prove.
I don't want to rush to judgment. I don't, because I did really enjoy Creature Commandos. And for the most part, like you said, I do still trust James Gunn and his vision for this, so we'll see.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's like, you're one of the only people I know who watch that show.
I know.
So it's like they're greenlighting more of something else. You know what it feels like? It feels like new regime stuff. Like when you're when you're a baseball GM and you're like, oh, I have all these good players or whatever, but they're not. I didn't draft them. I didn't trade for them. I didn't sign them. Fuck them. And they get rid of like all these people. They just clean house all the old that they can, and then it's all about who they drafted, and they're all excited about whoever they can bring in to bring their vision to the thing. I think Peacemaker was just this in-between thing.
Yep.
Which is wild, because James Gunn was like, yeah, this is the only thing that I'm going to kind of carry over, because he did Suicide Squad. So, I don't know, man. It's tough. That's tough. I honestly, I wonder if it's just because Gunn's too fucking busy. And he probably doesn't trust in other people's hands.
The guy's got a lot of stuff going on, obviously. So probably so. Like, when would we see season 3? 3 years from now? Like, with his schedule, So, we'll see. Yeah, disappointing, but we'll see.
Yeah, if somebody has a good idea for Checkmate or how to integrate it into this other stuff, I guess they're going to have to take the ball and run. But yeah, man, I think even with all that, I need to go back. We've been watching so many shows now, like, and we're getting towards the end of the year where I'm just like, we still have Stranger Things and some other stuff to come up, but I'm just like, all right, what's gonna pop? What's gonna take over? Like, is this finale so bad that it's gonna make me drop this out of like my top 5 or something, even when it was like almost heading for number 1?
It's a good possibility on my end, to be honest with you. Depending
a lot
on
of great TV.
There's a lot of great TV, and like it's sad that one episode could take it out of the top 5, but that's just, and when you're trying to wrap up a show, it's a very important episode, and they So we'll see.
Yeah, same, man. And it's funny because things like, I really like English Teacher. They pumped out like 10 episodes in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It was insane. I don't know if you noticed.
I have not noticed yet.
because it's a half-hour show. So they just literally was like, all right, the opening week is like 3, then we'll have a couple more the following week, and then we'll throw a couple more, and then it was like suddenly we were up to 10, and I was like, holy shit, is the season over? And it was wild. It was just like 3 weeks, and they had 10 episodes or something. So that's nuts. And then Slow Horses is back. We talked about that, and we've been having a lot of good stuff.
I mean,
yeah. So is The Lowdown, and just wow, it's insane. And then because I went back and I looked, not to derail this too much, but like I went back and looked at what I had in the top 5 from mid-season, and I was like, damn, are any of these going to survive? What's going on? It's crazy. Like maybe 1 or 2, but I think it's going to be a lot of turnover.
It's going to be a fun debate when we have that episode, because I think there's going to be a lot of turnover in my top 5 as well. Yeah,
and I wonder how much we're going to align, because we had a little bit of, like, we had like 1 or 2 shows that were like our shows that kind of, we didn't align on, but, there's a lot of stuff that we both watch, and they're really good. So we'll see, man. It's crazy. It's crazy out there in these streets, in these TV screens that we're doing. It's also crazy out on the movie theaters, Shane, because it's a weird time. We're out of, obviously, summer movie season, officially. I feel like we talked about how the Halloween October season is a little like we weren't too charged up about a whole lot of stuff coming through for October, because in a way they were kind of clearing way for some of these award season movies. And 2 of them that we're definitely looking forward to came out recently, Smashing Machine and Roofman. One where I even said to you at one point, I said, Roofman, I've seen that trailer so many times and I'm not sick of it. I'm going to love this movie. This might be one of those sneaky, like, wow, one of my favorite movies of the year. So I'll obviously update that in a moment, but I'm going to say it right now. Both of these movies, one disappointing more than the other, but I was a little let down by both of these movies. And I can now see why Roofman, I knew when Roofman went to Toronto and it didn't get like an audience award, or didn't get like this whole kind of like huge sweeping ovation, that I was like, oh, it must be just okay. And sad to say, I was proven right. But let's start with Smashing Machine, because, and obviously I want to know what you think about it. I'm speechifying myself. I'm turning into Danielle Brooks. But Smashing Machine, it was the winner of the Silver Lion at Venice for Best Director for Benny Safdie. It had a 15-minute standing ovation, one of the longest at the entire festival. Had a tearful Dwayne Johnson thinking he's got his moment. He's got his Oscar in the bag. He's got all this going. And now the scores, Shane, are 3.3 Letterboxd, not exactly lighting the world on fire, 6.8 IMDb, and a 65 Metascore, which don't seem to line up with something that gets 15 minutes of standing ovation. And I will say, this is a strange movie for me, because, on one hand, they're like, man, this is going to be in the Oscar conversation. The Rock might win Best Actor. There's all this stuff. And now it's like it came out, it bombed. Even seeing it, I was just like, I knew going into it that it was based on a documentary on Mark Kerr, the wrestler, MMA fighter, whatever you want, UFC, UFC kind of a guy that is the lead, that's played by Dwayne Johnson. This feels so much like a documentary, but almost like to the detriment of, like, you could have done so much more. And also, I don't see enough in this story that I'm like, what did he see in the documentary that he was just like, I really need to make this into a narrative structure and make this into a movie? Because I sat there just being incredibly underwhelmed by what they were trying to pull off about this kind of like beast in the ring, softy sort of outside, struggling with drugs like steroids, but also having struggles in relationships and whatever. Like, but he also just seems like such a charming, gentle guy, like the actual Rock in a way, like actual Dwayne Johnson in some regards. I didn't know what to make of it, but all I know is that it seemed very underbaked and underserved with the two lead performances as they were with Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt, or at least the headlining names. And I just couldn't wrap my arms around this one at all. What did you think about The Smashing Machine?
For the first time in a long time, I actually thought about leaving the movie theater.
Because it's boring.
It was boring. It was boring. Now, I watched UFC from its inception, right? Yeah. So I was on base level with Boss Rutan, who plays one of the coaches in this movie, one of the pioneers in MMA.
The guy towards the end that does the training?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I just found this story to be so underwhelming. And I don't even remember Mark Kerr in the early UFC days, to be honest with you. He never really popped. So for them to base a movie on that character, I just thought it was bland.
Yeah.
I didn't see a whole lot of inspiration from this character. Nothing worth driving me to I did go, but like nothing that pulled anything extra out from the documentary. I wanted to see more of his relationship with Emily Blunt. So maybe more of the substance abuse issues that he had, but it's like they kind of just glossed over that. We got
him ripping a door in half made me laugh more than like actually getting fearful.
Right?
Is bad,
it's like we got glimpses of him and Emily Blunt and like the stuff they went through, but it wasn't enough. It just didn't build on anything, and more like I said, it was just a boring film. Like for The Rock's performance, he was good. Like he was great, but Oscar talk, I don't see it. I don't understand the 15-minute ovation. I just don't see it in this movie. I was bored, which is the worst thing you could do to someone in the movie theater. And it wasn't like a terrible movie. Trust me, I've sat through worse, but I was like looking at my watch like every 5 minutes. I'm like, okay, is this going to wrap up anytime soon? It was just so lackluster. Didn't have that punch, didn't have the emotional punch.
I just don't know what I'm supposed to take away from him.
Yeah, exactly. Because he wasn't like this charismatic, just eccentric kind of UFC fighter. He was just a run-of-the-mill wrestler. Like he was bland. Yeah. He was vanilla. So like, I don't know, well, again, why they chose this athlete for a movie, to be honest with you. And I'm a big sports movie guy. You know that. And this was nowhere near, like if you want to watch, even though it's not a biopic, but watch the Warrior with Tom Hardy and Nick Nolte. Jesus, that's a UFC movie right there.
That's incredible.
That's an incredible UFC movie.
Yeah.
This one, however, just I don't know, man. I was so underwhelmed and disappointed in this movie. I ended up giving it like a 2.5, and that's being generous. That's being real generous on my part.
Yeah, I think I'm heading there myself. I thought all the same things as you. I mean, I tried to be, I don't want to say above, that's insulting, but like, I was just trying to think more outside the box than like, okay, it's not going to have the traditional like story structure of a sports docudrama, whatever you want to call it. And this one, especially not seeing the documentary and not knowing his story, I didn't know what to expect. So I tried to go in with as much of an open mind as possible. I enjoyed the documentary style cinematography. How it made it feel a little more intimate and lived in at times. Although I didn't think that in their home. Like right. I felt it actually detracted from that. And some people didn't like how they never get in the ring either. Like it's the fight choreography. You're all seeing it from ringside and doing it that way. And listen, I've heard and felt every bone crunch in that movie.
The sound editing was really good. You know,
so I was impressed on some of those things. And again, the Dwayne Johnson is good, and if he ends up being up for anything, I won't cry about it. I just don't think this movie's going to make enough noise for it to get anywhere, because if it's sitting here in the middle of October and all these other movies are throwing haymakers, in this category, no one's going to care. And Emily Blunt should have been like this huge, but these two charismatic lead actors could have sold this movie, you would think, on their own. Nobody went. Nobody cared.
I am kind of shocked at the low numbers it did. Like it was, what did it make the first weekend? Like 4 mil, something
maybe like
that.
7 most. And
Yeah.
then immediately lost half or 70% or whatever it was the following week. This movie has no legs. Nobody's talking about it. And that, especially that it wasn't in this circle of where we all talk about it, just the coverage of it all. But in general, it just died. Like, especially with things like One Battle After Another taking up a lot of oxygen, whether it's in just box office performance or whether it's actual awards conversations either. This movie's just getting tossed. So, and I can't find an argument not to toss it away myself. No. So I'm with you, man. Like, to me, it's a 2.5. Like, I struggled to just figure it out, and putting the real Mark Kerr at the end too, and everything else, I was just like, "What are we doing? Why didn't you just?" This literally could have been an email to everyone who cares to be like, "Hey, go check out that Mark Kerr documentary."
No.
I don't know.
I don't know, man. And The Rock, he may get nominated, but like, listen, I'll put it this way: if Adam Sandler couldn't win with his Uncut Gems performance, The Rock has no shot, because at least with Uncut Gems, people were talking about Sandler ad nauseum, like, and it was justified, and that movie was so tense and so good. No, I don't see it in the cards, man. And I feel bad because I love The Rock, but like,
I think the toughest thing for me with this movie, too, is that I sat there going, are they making steroids out to be like less of a dramatic piece, but like the woman in his life is like pure poison? It almost made it feel like she is his downfall more than like the steroid abuse or the, trying to stay clean. It was confounding, and I'm sure a lot of that dialogue is literally ripped from the documentary, but that doesn't make it compelling.
Right,
so
it does not.
I couldn't with this one. I absolutely couldn't with this one. Roofman, I enjoyed this one more than the Smashing Machine. I will say that, because again, it has a little bit more of a popcorn charming feature to it. This has Channing Tatum playing the titular Roofman, a former, I believe, Army Ranger. Basically wanted better for his family, couldn't really get much out of life outside of the military. So he decides to find the weaknesses in certain businesses. At first it was McDonald's. He went and robbed a lot of McDonald's by smashing through the roof, going down, robbing them, and leaving. And then he does that, I think he said 40-something times. Yeah. He only got convicted, I think, for one, so they threw the book at him in other ways to try to be like, we know you did all 40, but we can only get you on one. And then, he goes to jail, finds a flaw in their system to breaks out of jail, and then hides in a Toys R Us to lay low until people hopefully forget him enough to where he can then, move on, leave the country, do whatever he has to do. In the meantime, he ends up falling for the Kirsten Dunst character and starts going to her church and donates toys and meets her and goes out to a singles dinner and does all this stuff to where he's just super charming, just such a nice guy. The thing that hurts, though, when you're watching this movie is just like, okay, what am I doing? I'm warming to a guy who was... It's not like this guy, it's like, yeah, we all want better for our families. I didn't rob anybody, and I didn't go to jail, and I didn't escape jail. Like, why am I supposed to feel bad for him because he couldn't live up to something or couldn't figure out what to do with his life? So he became a criminal, and then we're just supposed to watch him get his life together, but part of that life is also robbing Toys R Us blind and selling stuff to pawn shops and whatever just to make his ends meet. Now, just because he's sort of Robin Hooding a little bit in the midst here, like, I think you get lost in the fact that, what am I supposed to do with this guy? And then it's over. And then you're just like, okay, and now we're looking at the credits watching the real guy, and okay. So I felt very kind of blah at the end of the movie, even though I had a better time as time went on. And Channing Tatum and Kirsten Dunst and a lot of the people in here, I had a great time. Ben Mendelsohn, I thought was tremendous as the pastor there. There's a lot of good people here. Lakeith Stanfield, Juno Temple for like 5 minutes. A lot of great people, but I just couldn't. Again, I thought this was fine.
I would agree with you. I had a better time with this movie than The Smashing Machine. And it's crazy. I'd never heard of this story before when it
took place in North, right?
When it took place, especially since I live in North Carolina, this took place in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
Where was he, in Raleigh or where they were?
Charlotte area.
Charlotte, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in the Charlotte area. But yeah, the whole thing is nuts. I did have a good time in this movie, but it is one of those things you say, it's like they make you fall for him because he's such a good guy. He's not a smart guy at all, obviously. Like, I would have never went back to Kirsten Dunst at the end there. I just would have got my plane and took off. But no, they kind of make you root for him, right? Like you, I had that issue. I'm like, why am I root? Because he's so charming, and he is so charming, and he's deep down a nice guy.
And there's a lot of laughs. Like, that's my other problem, by the way. A lot of the good stuff is all in the trailer.
Yes, I thought that was one of my flaws with this movie. I thought it was going to be funnier than it was. Like, it did have its moments, like when the dye pack popped in Dinklage's face, and some of the Toys R Us stuff was funny.
Or when he gets caught coming out of the shower and all that stuff. All the Dinklage stuff. Oh, basically, a lot of the Dinklage stuff is all the humor.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I was like, I kind of felt like you did. I was like, it was fine. It was a good movie. I love him and Dunst together. Like, Tatum is just so charming altogether. Like, he's
such an underrated star, man.
He is. He really is. Like, a lot, he took a lot of crap early in his career, but I've turned my opinion around on him. I really do like Channing Tatum, and I like him in this role. Like you said, the cast was good. The cast was great. But at the end of the day, this movie, again, lacked enough comedic punch for me. And at the end of the day, did I really care about this guy? No. Like, because you knew what was coming. Like, you fall for him. But at the end of the day, you knew something was going to happen. He's going to get caught, right? It was like that uncomfortable, like, do I want to watch him get caught or do I want to watch him get away? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and also, I don't know if it's the parent in me either. I had the feeling of, like, it's one thing if he was just like, oh, there's this single woman, we kind of hit it off. Maybe she'll come with me, have those kind of fleeting fancy. I can turn my life around. I could do this for her. I don't know. Once it's like she's a mom of two young girls and they're looking for, like, he's slipping into, like, almost forcing himself to be like a father figure and really integrate himself when he knows that he's a time bomb. It's very selfish. And I know he kind of sort of talks about that a little bit at the end of the movie, but not enough for me to be like, just because you fucked up doesn't mean I have to like you at the end of the day. And it's weird when at the end of the movie, like, Kirsten Dunst's character kind of just goes, I was mad, but now I feel like it was just like an adventure. And I guess that's the way to, if you feel about this movie the way Kirsten Dunst is written as liking him, then you might like this movie more than me. But, like, if you're just like, oh, what a fun ride, let's go home. Like, if you could literally have that attitude instead of, like, just thinking on it and going, God, what am I supposed to do with this information? It's a lot different. And then to basically rub it in our faces, to have the real person and the news reports and everything else in the credits to where they're like, yeah, he was so nice and all this stuff and he's a good guy. It's like, yeah, he still robbed you, though.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you could be the nicest criminal. You're still
a criminal.
A criminal, yeah. And it's not like I'm going to stick up for corporations. God, no, that's not in my DNA at all. However, it's not your money. Fucking go work. I don't know. So it's tough. It's a tough movie, but I think, again, they benefit so much from an excellent cast and likable people and like likable characters enough in here to be like, I can ride with this enough. Yeah. But to me, it's like a 3.
I'm right there with you. I was gonna go 3.25.
You don't get to cheat code a cheat code.
I know. I don't get to. That's not how it works. I know. So, but at the end of the day, I'll give it a 3. I was thinking that when I left the theater initially, I was like, oh, maybe 3.5. But the more I sat on it that night, I'm like, It's a 3.
Yeah.
It's a 3. So
tough week out there, man.
It was a tough week because, again, it's 2 movies that we were looking forward to. I had high expectations, more so for Smash Machine because I watched those trailers. Didn't see the Roofman trailer as much as you, but I like Channing Tatum. So I'm like, all right, it looks good.
Yeah.
And yeah, they both kind of just were underwhelming is the word just the key word for the day. Underwhelming.
Yeah. And if you want to tack onto that one, read my latest review for what's on Netflix.com, where I give a big fat 2.5 to The Woman in Cabin 10, the thriller, quote unquote. I think I literally put thriller in quotes in my review. Keira Knightley doing her best, man. Again, another person I really like who is good in the movie, but it's one of those like, this is so straightforward, thin characters, wasted talent down the card. Like Hannah Waddingham being in there to do nothing essentially is weird. It's a tough sled. So go and read that. Let me know if you enjoyed or didn't like, because I those type of movies, Netflix, just a thriller you could throw on a Friday night, seems to be a lower bar, but you know, people seem to be relatively around the scores that I had for it. So be sure to hit us up at ReSnackPod or hit me up at Jokes on Drew if you want to give me crap for my reviews, because we all love that, right? And give crap to Shane, you know, because he needs it. He needs a little attention in his life. So we're gonna pull that off next week. Going with a little switcheroo, a little extra, because both of us are going out of town. You will be going to your high school reunion, which is, you know, a fun little trip down memory lane. Are you scared? Because I did mine. I was like flipping out for like a couple months of being like, am I at the right place in my life? Do I need to lose weight going into the reunion? I like lost my mind. So I don't know if you're better mentally than I am.
Yeah, I'm good to go, buddy. I'm looking forward to it because honestly, I think most of my good friends aren't even going. So like, I'll probably not even know half the people at my reunion. So, you know. I'm looking forward to it, though.
That's good. I will, of course, you're coming into town where I live. You're coming up to Connecticut, and I will be like, cool, man, I'm going to leave and go to Woodstock, New York.
You son of a bitch.
I know. It's not just you. I had another friend coming into town for a reunion, too, for college, and totally she's like, yeah, you should come and say hello. I'm like, I'll be out. Because I will be at the Woodstock Film Festival, checking out a bajillion movies. I believe I've already watched 2 screeners, and then I will watch another 12 movies when I'm there. 12 movies plus panels. Gonna get to see Mariska Hargitay up close, which if you're an old SVU head, it's like the greatest thing in the world.
It is like the holy grail.
She was the replacement in my mind of like when I was a kid, everybody's like, oh, if you're homesick, it's like, oh, Bob Barker's there. You watch Price is Right for hours and have Campbell soup, and that's how you get better, right? She became the like, I'm hungover from being out with my buddies until 2 a.m. and there's an SVU marathon on USA, and I'm just going to watch that for 10 hours and sit on the couch. So she was like that. She was the new Bob Barker.
Oh, yeah.
In that regard. And then of course she's just amazing. Like her and Stabler, like that's, you know, iconic pair. So it's gonna be cool that she's gonna be there. She's got her documentary about her mother that is, you know, is going around to the festivals, and so she'll be there. So it'll be fun. And there'll be a lot of other stars doing other panels and stuff and Q&As with their movies and everything else. So it'll be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. Going up with friend of the show, also Mike from Mike and Oscar. Be sure to check out their podcast and subscribe to them, because I will be on there doing episodes. I think we might be recording like while we're there, because we're just watching so much stuff. It's like hard to like not have stuff fall out of our brains because we're watching like 20 movies, you know, together or whatever. So it's insane. But then part of that, I think we're going to try to do a home and home version of things where I'll be on as a guest on his podcast, and then he'll be a guest on our podcast, talking about, especially because I am there to cover a lot of the Netflix awards films. So I think that might be the focus of the episode for us next week. So be sure to, of course, follow us on the socials. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. And yeah, I'll just be trying to throw little maybe mini stories or videos or other things so people can kind of go along for the ride and then get the full report when we come back next week. And then hopefully we're going to do more of like the horror, October, scary horror stuff, all that, everything when we get back into full swing, when we get back together, because we got Black Phone 2 coming out this week. I heard mixed things on Bone Lake, but I don't know if I'm going to get to that one, but like Shelby Oaks, right, is the other one that's coming out soon. And it sucks so much that I think the scary movie I'm looking forward to the most coming up is Keeper, and that doesn't come out until after the Halloween season. So that bugs me.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, a lot of things going on. Hope you enjoy your reunion and seeing the folks around here. Maybe I'll leave like a cardboard cutout like in your room. I'll talk to Chris. Maybe have a little something there for you. But yeah, good job by you as always. Enjoy your trip, and everybody out there, be sure to come back next week for more recent activity.